aloud for you from my novel, The Heartbalm Effect. Book 1 in the Medicine Women of Alaska. Chapter 1, 6 months later, mid-January, Gnometown Clinic, Alaska. Rachel Lavange's heart hammered in her throat as she navigated her way up the treacherous, snow-covered hill. When she reached the crest, she looked down to her left. Below her, in all its adorable authenticity, stood the quaintly restored downtown village of Gnometown. She'd been in the village itself only moments earlier, warming herself and gaining a measure of sustenance at the Runcible Spoon, a cozy coffee shop where she'd ordered a large soy latte. She'd also taken a much-needed pee break. After she left the interstate, she'd wandered and gotten a little bit lost, found her way again, and gotten lost again, before finally finding her way back onto the proper road to Gnometown. It wasn't until she hit the bumpy road that she realized she'd forced her poor bladder to strain itself beyond normal human limits. As she gazed down at the village scene, at the tourists milling around who were enjoying this surprisingly balmy day, she wondered why the doctor who'd interviewed her back in Fairbanks had behaved as if Gnometown were a nondescript little nonentity. From what little she'd seen in the achingly authentic and touristy downtown, Gnometown struck her as simply adorable. She wandered around the area and noticed 3 restaurants, a couple of gift shops, a die-hard hiker outfitter store, a dry cleaner, a tour office with various adventure packages, a realty office offering gorgeous chalets with unparalleled views of Mount Denali, and an upscale women's clothing store. If it weren't for the snow and cold, she'd think she was wandering around downtown Gatlinburg from back in the day, before it became too touristy and trashy. Even so, Gnometown knew how to pile on the sizzle, for outside one of the gift shops, right beside the front door, stood a 14-foot tall stuffed grizzly bear, a genuine point of interest, where tourists snapped photos and children ran between the grizzly's legs, screaming and laughing. Better not try that with a real grizzly, kids. He might not respond with as much equanimity as this one. She smiled and pressed gently on the gas, easing up the hill toward the Gnometown Clinic. The sign said she'd arrived, yet she noted she hadn't. She drove up first one hill, then another, before the ground leveled off, and she found herself suddenly in a parking lot, gazing up at the ugliest building she'd ever seen. Surely this isn't the clinic. A nondescript concrete block building painted a hideous yellow. It glowered down at her with an ugly sneer. Why'd they design the clinic in such a clumsy way? Why'd they dump the industrial garage at the front entrance? I shouldn't be so judgmental. We're out in the wilderness, and there must be considerations other than beauty. I only hope the clinic itself cares a little more over its appearance. She drove through the parking lot and weaved around to the right, caught a driveway that took her to the clinic behind the garage. But when she reached the end of the drive and saw nothing, she pulled up short and stopped. First in surprise, then in shock. What the heck? Behind the industrial garage was nothing but more parking lot. Then she looked at the sign above the side door. Gnometown Clinic, service entrance, please ring bell. Oh dear. this hideous, ugly building is the clinic.